Hey friends, how are you? I'm Dave Kirkpatrick and this is November and Beyond. It's a rare treat for you today. I'm going to do the whole show live here in the studio. I don't do that too often. I may have never done it often. I think I did it successfully last week. We've had a lot of little training sessions. I think one of them actually turned into a show. But this is one way to do a TV show. It's a great way to do a TV show live, live in the studio, because in a half an hour my show is going to be done. In 28 minutes, in fact, my show is going to be done. All the edits, everything, it's just going to be in the can, it's ready to go. So live television is wonderful for that reason. And I'm in a pinch today. I didn't do my show. Usually I get it done a day in advance if I can. That did not happen, and so I can cram it in right now, and I know I'll be done in 20 minutes. 28 minutes, and so here we go. I'm gonna do my best here to just wing it and run a show out of the studio. The one thing I did not do, and I planned to do, was go live to Facebook with this, and I want to demonstrate that. I want to show you what's going on. I'm going to talk about our live call-in capabilities at some point on this show, I guess I'm not going to necessarily do that now, but I want to plant the seed for you, and I'll have some other graphics that'll show our call-in number for the Zoom call to get us going on Facebook. So before we do that, why don't we just go ahead and watch some fun stuff? This is going to be a clip show, basically. I have a handful of clips, a few pictures, but this is a good way to do a show. I bring in a folder full of pictures and a folder full of videos, and my guy in the control room is going to run this stuff for us. And I'm thinking we should start with a piece Luca Paris did. Luca, everybody knows Luca in the community. He's got a great program going on that he's trying to help out the local restaurants, and in fact all the Main Street merchants, and get some stuff going on downtown. It's a pretty cool project. He tells it better than I do. He can tell it in his own words. So let's check in with Luca Paris and find out more about what he's doing.
Hi, I'm Luca Paris. I want to invite you to the Monadnock Restaurant Project. The Monadnock Restaurant Project was started in 2021 as a way to stimulate the restaurant economy during the pandemic, and that's exactly what we're doing. We basically have three parts to this project. One, stimulate restaurants, bring more money into the economy. Two, promote and encourage people to go out and spend that money. And three, energize the populace. Make the people come out and be part of the stimulus. We, on the project, bought $10,000 in gift cards from various 20 to 24 different restaurants. We then gave them out to the community and asked them to spend 2 to 4 times more than the gift card they got. How does it stimulate the economy? Well, that's 700 cards out there, 700 people going to restaurants and spending 2 to 4 times more that's on a card. It's going to help restaurants stay open. It's going to help them keep their staff employed, so the hourly, the salaried, and the wage employees are all still working through the slowest part of the season for us by doing one simple thing, is giving out a gift card. After a while, other businesses started doing the same thing. They started buying gift cards and giving them to their employees. And we started a local crowdfunding page that raised another $10,000. With that, we started phase 2, where we're going to buy another $10,000 in gift cards from restaurants we didn't buy the first time, and we're going to give those out. The total infusion of capital and revenue into the local economy could very well reach up to $80,000. It will be a game-changing investment in our local community. And it all has happened because of the incredible people in Keene. So whether you've invested in it, whether you've gone out to dinner, whether you've ordered takeout, whether you've bought a gift certificate or received one and became part of the movement, it's because of you. So this is my way of saying thank you to be part of the Monadnock Restaurant Project and being part of an amazing community.
That's a pretty cool thing. That's nice to see people getting involved in trying to help out during these tough times. He's the right guy to do it. Luca's right down in the square, of course. You can certainly get in touch with him to find out more about that project and how you can get involved in it. Thanks and congratulations. That's a wonderful thing that's going on. What else do we have? I'm sitting here in front of my computer, but honestly, I'm going to manage this whole show on a sticky, sort of using the random method. We're going to figure out how much stuff I have time to talk about. Everybody's probably interested in what's going on with Cheshire TV these days. And I don't think I want to spend a whole lot of time on this show, but the easy part is the city has kind of called our note. The city has given us a termination notice of the lease here at Cheshire TV. We're doing everything we can to fight that. There's been some turmoil. Things have been resolved, but I think there's some bad feelings and some misunderstandings going on. And we're in a little bit of trouble. So we're asking you, if you're out there watching Cheshire TV, or if you're in the community watching this on the internet, we could really use your help here at Cheshire TV. What you could really do that's going to benefit us is call your counselors. You can send them an email. That's very helpful too. You can write a letter to the editor. We appreciate that sort of thing. We need the people to impress upon the powers that be here in the city that Cheshire TV is a valuable resource and, in fact, needs less oversight by the government, not more. This is a free speech organization, and it is set up and designed to be run by the membership, with the membership being members of the community. Anybody can be a member here. If you're not a member, you should come on in. You should give us a call, find out what we do, and come on in and participate. What the city has asked us for is for them to have a complete and controlling interest in Cheshire TV. They've asked our board of directors to step down and for them to be replaced by city appointees, which does not bode well for Cheshire TV. They let us know that everything will be just fine. They just want to change a little bit of text in our documents that nobody's ever seen. And things would probably appear to be fine for a couple of weeks going forward. Actually, things would probably appear to be fine for a couple of years going forward. But what that would give them the power to do is at any time revisit this organization, revisit the rules, the bylaws, everything about it. It would give them the power to terminate it. And we know what government likes to do. Government likes to tighten strings and likes to cut programs that benefit the people. This is one that benefits the people, and we don't think that should happen. Furthermore, Cheshire TV is fully funded. There's no need for the city to be putting their hands on the money. They get concerned about being good stewards of the money, and we appreciate that. We appreciate our representatives being careful with the money they give out here and there. But the money going through the city is actually a curiosity unto itself. It is not uncommon, but there's no reason for it to be. So our support could come through Spectrum Cable and go directly to Cheshire TV. Our agreement with the city does not need to include any more than that has to happen, and then they could take that off their place. They could stop worrying so much about what we are doing. And move on. So there's a really simple solution to that, is take that portion out of the city's hands. We're a transparent organization, and we're a tiny organization. There's no money here to mishandle. There's nothing to steal. There's no way to lose it. Our books are open. Transparency is what we're all about here. So the fact that it runs through the city and gets called now taxpayer dollars does not change the fact that this is cable subscriber franchise money, arguably for the purpose of providing public access to the community. So there's no need for it to take a trip through the local government, especially if they're getting concerned about it. That's one of the things we can be asking for, is to make that a direct funding, take that off their plates, reduce the workload for those folks, and make it easier for us to carry on. There's a clip. I think we're going to go ahead and play the city council clip, because I sent a letter requesting a public hearing. I think I misworded that a little bit. And the council is perhaps correct here in that they should not be discussing a contract. The problem we have is with the agreement with the city of Keene, with the overall relationship with the city of Keene. But Randy Filio is going to make that clear to the council, what I'm really after. And it's going to be pretty clear, I think, in the video what's been set up to happen there. And they really don't want to hear from us. Again, we're asking you to write to your counselor, call your counselor. That's very, very effective. So here's what happened the other night in council, and I'm going to take a trip back there and try to remedy this as quickly as I can. But let's take a look.
Communication from David Kirkpatrick. He's the executive director of Cheshire TV, and it's relative to the proposed termination of their contract.
And this one I'll be referring to the city manager, who really has the responsibility to negotiate these ongoing contracts.
Your Honor, just a point of order.
Yeah, Councilor Filio?
Yeah, I happened to get a text from Mr. Kirkpatrick tonight, and his whole purpose here was because he wanted to be able to speak to the full council. He's felt like with such a serious issue going on that most of the council hadn't heard at least that side of the story. And so he was hoping, and his request was, by meeting a public hearing, that we would send it to committee so he could speak to the full council, in person. And I think we ought to honor his request in the act of transparency, because that's the intent of what the letter writer wanted. I really feel we should send this to committee to give him that opportunity to speak to us.
Well, we thought about this a little bit, and I would equate it to some other kind of a variety of contracts that the city manager is really responsible for overseeing. And we can't really, it's not in the council's purview to examine those ongoing contracts.
But Your Honor, his purpose was that he wanted to speak to us. He mentioned about the contract. He wanted to speak to the full council. I don't know what his full intent was, but he wanted the opportunity to speak to council at committee.
Councilor, you're welcome to make a motion if you like, but my action here is to refer it to the city manager's office.
Well, based on the right of appeal on section 13 of the rules of order, I challenge the chair.
And I second that motion. Council Greenwald seconds.
All right, we have a motion and a second to challenge the ruling of the chair. Councilor Filio?
Simple, Your Honor. Transparency. We have a petitioner who's asked to speak to the council. Whenever any of our constituents ask to speak to us, we should have full transparency and allow them to do that. To simply send it to city staff buries it. And we're here to represent every citizen of the city of Akeene. And when one of our citizens asks to speak to us, we should grant them that request. It's simple. It's the right thing to do. It's a transparent thing to do. Anything else lacks transparency.
My counter argument would be that we entrust the city manager with the responsibility of overseeing contracts for the city. That's not a responsibility that the city council has. And I think it would be an overstep for us to get involved in that way, or for the council to get involved in that way. And I see the city manager wants to speak to this. I'd offer her that opportunity.
A point of order.
Point of order, the city manager cannot speak to this. Only you and I make a comment, and then it goes straight to a vote to the council per section 13 of the right of appeal.
If you want to go that way, then we'll do that.
That's the rules of order, Your Honor. That's not my way.
My only other comment would be that the reason for sending this to staff is the letter specifically addresses and calls out the ongoing contract. So if there is some other interest in how Cheshire TV, the arrangement between the city and Cheshire TV or something like that should be done, Councilor Filio or anyone else is willing to, or totally free to send a letter into the council saying that they want to examine the relationship between the city and Cheshire TV. Because this letter only calls out the contract, that's how it would be noticed if we sent it to committee. And I don't think it would be an appropriate conversation to have. So I welcome anyone who wants to talk about the relationship between the city and Cheshire TV, a bit of a broader conversation that would not be related to this contract, to submit a letter to that effect. With that, we'll go to the challenge of the chair. If you vote yes, that is affirming my decision to send it to the city staff. If you vote no, then that is agreeing with Councilor Filio that we should take some other sort of action. Councilor Hooper, please start us out with your name and your vote.
Councilor Hooper, yes.
Councilor Remy, yes.
Councilor Manwaring, yes.
Councilor Giacomo, yes.
Councilor Filio, no.
Councilor Williams, no.
Philip M. Jones, no.
Counselor Johnson, yes.
Counselor Madison, yes.
Counselor Ormrod, yes.
Counselor Chadbourne, yes.
Counselor Workman, yes.
Counselor Greenwald, no.
You hear that?
Counselor Bosley, yes.
Counselor Powers, yes.
I did. I just want to confirm, Councilor Greenwald, that was a no?
That is correct.
Okay.
No.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2, 3, 4.
I've recorded 11 yes, 4 no. So the ruling of the chair is upheld.
Oh, well, you know, I'm going to write the letter and go back and try and get what I want. And what I want is indeed to discuss this in a more public setting. They're correct. The city manager is the one who can negotiate the contracts. What she brought to me the second day I think I was here at the job was a letter that said that your contract is terminated and you can do this and there'll be no negotiating, which is why I'm trying to bring this forward, because this discussion should happen in public. I don't know where it's going to go. In about 60 days, we're going to find out, I'm sure. But at that point, we will be without a contract. And so the other piece was the contract is not up for negotiation at this point, because it's only, you know, it's not mature at this point. But we'll have the opportunity to renegotiate a contract one way or the other. I don't feel it should be she and me, where nobody can hear or see this conversation. So I'll get back to this. I don't want to dig too far into that right now, but we'll get back to this with some call-in guests, and we'll talk a little bit about this on the show, perhaps next week, almost certainly next week. I think we're going to head to a clip. We'll call this one Maskless Mob. You heard the rumors. You probably saw it in the paper. These guys, there's some other, the usual suspects, decided to descend on one of our favorite places, the food co-op here in Keene, and run in and do some, I don't even know what we'd call it, politicking, protesting. I don't know what to describe this as. This is unhelpful in every way. They made a 40-minute video of this and posted it all over the web, so I borrowed a little slice of it. Here's about 2 minutes of what happened the other day at the food co-op.
Yeah. Get my gloves. We got Ian and Bonnie, hosts of Free Talk Live.
Masks and
Yeah.
COVID, they just started laughing. Like,
Trying to be normal humans today. Oh, here he goes. Look at all these beautiful faces. My camera only captures faces today.
Well, there's been a few.
That's a nice face, like that face.
Some chick just running for the fucking door.
Oh.
Yeah, watch. Some come flying out of there.
What exactly is being accomplished here? What are these guys trying to do?
You guys are violating our bodily autonomy. Hey, boys, just shut up.
You think, you know, our police officers have something better to do with their time. No business in this time needs to have any extra trouble. You know, this is just not cool in every way. The police showing, you know, all the restraint they do.
Is that okay? How long is it before
In and out we go, and they'll have a little
Right now,
argument
it's
in the
the
parking
mask
lot
next
as
to your
well.
vaccine card.
After this, they run down Main Street and they're scaring people on the streets. So they're making people uncomfortable. They are hurting the business. They are educating nobody. They're making no sort of point, no sort of science. Nothing's nothing useful is happening here that I can
You
see.
gentlemen and ladies probably won't have the best day.
Seems to be a pretty big waste of time, and shame on them. Shame on them for making people uncomfortable, nervous, sad.
No, you were
The
threatening
whole
someone
thing.
with the inside earlier. Yes, you were.
What's the point? Shame on them. I'm shame on them, and I hate to even give that airtime, but a little slice of how it went down. I don't know. That's what we do here. Let's take another look. Let's go to masks, because there was another incident elsewhere that had a different result, and some of us think maybe this is a more appropriate way to handle stuff like this. Let's take a look at masks.
I'll say if they ask you to leave, you have to leave. My money's in this bank, and I'm going to take it out.
Well, then you have to abide by the rules, and you have to have a mask on.
This is a state.
It's not. Businesses have the right to refuse service, even if you're not wearing a mask. That's their choice.
My money out.
Awesome. Well, you need to go and get a mask and then take your money out. You're not allowed to do.
I've been waiting here.
Ma'am,
for about 10
listen,
minutes.
we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way.
What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yes, for intruding on premises.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and you believe
Here again.
I believe in
What's the point of this?
the laws, yes.
She's going to stand on her point.
that I do not have
She's not correct. She's
You can
talking to she's on private property. She's talking to an
I'm not
officer
going to
whose
argue
job
with you
is to
about
keep
this. This is
the
not a
order in
public
this
place. This is a private business. No, you're not.
She's not
We're
concerned for
gonna
the
go
other
outside.
folks in the bank. They are correctly concerned for what situation
like
might be
I'm
about to go down here.
Let's walk go
No,
outside.
it's pointless. Why would
got
anybody do
issues.
this? What do you think she's going to get? Maybe you all saw this already.
Let's go outside. Let's go outside.
It's not going to go well for her.
Shoot me for trying not to breathe?
Cool.
Come on, dude.
Don't do that. Oh no.
And she just pushed the magic button. She's
Back up. Some old
I don't know. Is
lady
she making a
is
point?
getting
Is she educating us? Is she? What good comes of this?
Ma'am, put your hands
None.
behind
The
your
poor
back.
police officer probably has to quarantine himself, so she's going to get thrown to the ground.
You don't stop resisting. Stop.
Are you gonna?
And you've heard stop resisting before, right? This is what happens when a white lady says
Relax.
stop resisting, and
get
they're
real.
going to go pretty easy on her. They're going to be careful putting her head in the cruiser door.
Not relaxing.
So here she is. She's getting what she asked for. She yells out to the folks, "Help! Help! Nobody's going to help me." Heck no, lady. You ruined our day. Go away. Go away. That's a bad idea right there for sure. So let's go. Why do these people do stuff like this? Where do they get the idea that this is okay? They're on private property. They're endangering other people. Whether or not you believe it or don't believe it, that's endangering other people. If I believe I can safely race my car at 70 miles an hour past a school zone, I'm not going to crash it. I'm wide awake. I'm good. You don't get to do that. You don't decide if you're endangering other people. Society says, hey, you know what? There's a speed limit here and there's a reason for it. You got to wear a hard hat on this job. There's a reason for it. And you got to wear your masks during a pandemic. And if you don't, you're really showing your disrespect for the people around you. I just cannot imagine why people are doing this. On the other side of the coin, we have great people in here who started out with the mask making. Monadnock, I think it is, mask makers, if I got the name right. And all the restaurants trying to do it properly, and all the businesses trying to negotiate this stuff. People are really trying. And there are some people throwing it right back in everybody's face. Why would they do such a stupid thing? Let's roll. The next clip is going to be where they get the idea. We have Mr. Cruz has made a name for himself, and he keeps working at it to try and improve himself. What's going on here?
We want your diagnosis, doctor, on the curious case of Ted Cruz. Let's listen to this.
Would you mind putting a mask on for us?
Yeah, when I'm talking to the TV camera, I'm not going to wear a mask, and all of us have been immunized. So
It'd make us feel better.
you're welcome to step away if you like. The whole point of a vaccine, CDC guidance, is what we're following.
Is that true, Sanjay? Is he following CDC guidance that when you're around a scrum of reporters, you don't need to wear a mask?
So charming, right? No, actually, it's not. The CDC guidance, and I just pulled it up again because the guidance does change, admittedly. But it says even if you've been fully vaccinated, you need to keep taking precautions in public places, wearing a mask, staying 6 feet apart, avoiding crowds. So it's not the case. I mean, I realize this mirrors a conversation that most of society is having right now in terms of what can you do if you've been fully vaccinated. The concern is that for him, he's pretty well protected, admittedly, against getting severely ill, requiring hospitalization. I don't know which vaccine he got, but they're all pretty good at preventing that. There's a couple of issues. First of all, they're not perfect, so he could still get sick. Also, the big wild card here, as we've talked about, are these variants. Even though he should be very well protected against illness, severe illness and hospitalization from the variants, he may not be as well protected against moderate illness, mild illness, and the possibility that he could still transmit the virus to somebody else. So when he's not wearing a mask, he's potentially putting other people in that room at risk. It's as simple as that. I mean, we've been talking about this for months now. That equation doesn't change yet. When enough people have been vaccinated, when we've reduced viral transmission rates low, that's when we can start to probably pull back on this.
Where do people get the ideas? The last POTUS was making fun of people for wearing masks when the pandemic broke out, and while we have a 500,000 people dead because that half of the aisle, just all of them, they have just been throwing it back in people's faces. These are scientists. These are like the leading researchers in the world, doctors and scientists, and the people who really know this stuff are saying, hey, you got to be careful. You got to believe in science. And they're saying, nope, we don't. Ted Cruz is not only saying he's unconcerned for people, he's screaming he's unconcerned for people. He's letting people know he does not care about them. He's in power. He can do whatever he wants, and he's all smug and happy, putting those people at risk. I'm horrified by it. We're at the point right now where we have a chance to put this thing back in the bag. If everybody can just buckle down for a few more weeks, few more months, whatever the experts are telling us, we got to do it. You're vaccinated. You're not bulletproof. It's going to help prevent transmission, and it's going to help. You're probably not going to get it. No vaccine is 100%. We really got to, hunker down on this right now, or we'll be playing this game in 2022 and beyond, and it's not even going to be funny. And there's a group of people to blame for this. There's the people who wear masks and the people who don't, and it's the folks who are throwing this in everybody's face. It just makes no sense to me. It's nothing to do with freedom. It's nothing to do with their constitutional rights or anything like that. This is people having a tantrum and using this for politics, and it's just not the way to go. I see I got oh, you know what? I'm getting my warning. If we could put the other lower third up for the Zoom calls, let me just do that quickly. I'm going to start doing these morning shows. I'm going to do live call-in Zoom shows in the morning. We're going to do this Facebook Live because I don't dare go TV Live because who knows who's going to call in and say what on the show, but they can do whatever they want on Facebook. I can't get in much trouble for that. And I can take the best parts of that or cut out the worst parts of that and bring it into my TV show later on. So my Zoom number is on the screen, 603-720-1080. Huh? How's that? Come on. I worked on that a little bit. So anyways, you'll be seeing that, and you can jot down that number now, or I'll flash it again soon. You can call in the mornings. If you see me live on Facebook, that's the time to do it. And that's about all the time I have for this week. My sticky worked out perfectly. I got to everything. We're about to run off the edge, and I'm just going to say see you next week. Be safe. Wear your mask. Ta-ta for now.